The laughter still echoes in my mind. That piercing, echoing sound from that sunny Saturday afternoon when everything began to shift. We were at our backyard barbecue, the kind my husband adored. Cheap beer, sizzling burgers, country music humming from the speaker he insisted was vintage, and the faint smell of charcoal mingled with cut grass. It should have been ordinary, one of those easy suburban weekends filled with harmless jokes and too much potato salad. But then she said it. "Who wants to trade my husband?" Her voice, my voice, came out light and teasing, the kind of mock humor I used to throw around when I still thought everything in our marriage was safe enough to joke about. I remember my hand resting on Liam's shoulder as I said it, brushing away sweat from his neck. He laughed softly, kissed my wrist like he always did when I teased. And then our neighbor Emily, sitting 2 chairs away, leaned forward with a smirk and said, "I'll take him." Everyone laughed. Everyone except me. Because there was something in the way she said it. Not like a joke, like a dare. Her eyes didn't flicker away from his face. She meant it. I should have laughed too, brushed it off, but I felt something tighten inside me. Not jealousy, not yet. It was something quieter, sharper, like the faint prick of glass under skin. I looked at Liam, waiting for him to roll his eyes or tease her back, but he just grinned, that easy grin that once made me fall for him. He didn't look away either. That moment lasted no more than a few seconds, but it split something in me I didn't realize was fragile. A week later I saw the first sign. It was subtle. His phone lighting up at midnight with her name. Emily R. next door. He said it was about her fence. "She's asking for a quote, babe." I told her I'd help with the repair. I remember how calm his voice was, how believable. My stomach nodded anyway. Emily was divorced 2 years now, with a laugh that always seemed too loud when Liam was nearby. I told myself I was paranoid. I told myself he was kind, too kind sometimes. But paranoia has a smell. It seeps in like damp wood after rain. One evening I walked outside to toss the trash. The air was heavy, the kind that clings to your skin before a storm. I heard faint laughter drifting from the fence. His voice, her voice, froze. "Don't say that," he said, laughing. "Oh, come on," she teased. "You love it when I make you blush." My pulse raced. The trash bag slipped from my hand. For a second I couldn't breathe. I wanted to walk over to demand answers, but my legs wouldn't move. My mind tried to rationalize. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe they were just talking. Maybe. I walked back inside. I didn't cry that night. I couldn't. I just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening for the sound of the back door. He came in late. His hands were cold when he touched me. Days turned to weeks. Small things changed first. He started showering twice a day. Switched his cologne. His shirt smelled faintly of vanilla, the same scent Emily wore. He started humming in the mornings again. The same way he used to when he was falling in love with me. I wanted to confront him, but something in me was afraid. Afraid that naming it would make it real. So I played my role. The loyal wife. The steady heartbeat in a house that was no longer mine. Until the day I saw them. It was late afternoon. I came home early from work, carrying groceries, when I saw through the kitchen window Liam and Emily standing too close by her porch. She had a towel wrapped around her neck, her hair wet like she'd just showered. He leaned in, brushing something from her cheek. I couldn't see her smile, but I felt it. I felt the spark between them like heat against glass. They didn't kiss. Not that I saw. But it didn't matter. He knew. You always know. I didn't confront him that night. I made dinner. He told me about work. I smiled and nodded like I hadn't watched my marriage crack open under the weight of a neighbor's smirk. I thought I could fix it if I just stayed calm. If I gave him space. If I waited long enough for him to come back to me. But betrayal isn't a fire you wait out. It's a slow, spreading smoke that seeps through every crack, suffocating you before you even realize you can't breathe. The night it broke was quiet. We were sitting on the couch, a movie playing low in the background. His phone buzzed. Once. Then again. He ignored it. I didn't. I picked it up from the coffee table, my hand shaking just slightly. The message preview was there, clear as day. Emily, I can still taste you. Time stop. He froze. His lips parted, eyes wide, and for the first time I saw fear in his face. Anna, wait. I stood up. My chest burned, my ears ringing. I couldn't hear the TV anymore. Just the sound of my own heartbeat thudding against my ribs. How long? I asked. He said nothing. How long, Liam? Silence. Tears blurred my vision, but my voice didn't break. You traded me for her? He flinched. It wasn't like that. It just happened. I laughed, a raw, broken sound that didn't feel like mine. Things like that don't just happen. Affairs aren't accidents. They're choices. He reached for me, but I stepped back. You joked, I whispered. You joked about trading you. And she actually took you. His face fell, shame flickering across his features. I didn't mean to hurt you. Then why did you? He didn't have an answer. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just walked to our bedroom, pulled down the wedding photo from the dresser, and stared at it. Two smiling strangers frozen in a promise neither could keep. Then I placed it face down. That night I sat on the porch alone. The air was cold, sharp with the scent of rain. Across the fence, her house lights were still on. I could see her silhouette move behind the curtains. I imagined her laughing, maybe at something he said, maybe at me. I thought about the woman I'd been, the one who trusted, who believed in the warmth of familiarity. That woman was gone. What replaced her was something quieter, stronger, but broken all the same. The morning after the truth came out, silence felt like punishment. The house was still, air thick with everything unsaid. Liam slept on the couch. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the coffee in my hands until it went cold. The sunlight filtered through the blinds, slicing the room into stripes, golden lines over broken promises. It wasn't the kind of pain that made you scream. It was quieter, crueler. It crawled under your skin and stayed there, whispering reminders every time you tried to breathe. When he woke up, his eyes were bloodshot. He looked like a man who'd aged 10 years overnight. But I didn't care. I didn't even hate him, not yet. Hate requires energy, and I had none left to give. He opened his mouth. Anna, don't. He closed it again. I walked past him toward the door. I needed air. I needed distance. But when I stepped outside, fate twisted the knife. Emily was there, watering her plants, her robe loose, hair tousled like she hadn't even tried to hide it. She looked up, saw me, and froze. For a second, neither of us spoke. Then she smiled. Something inside me snapped. I crossed the lawn, my bare feet sinking into damp grass. She stood still, pretending to adjust her hose, her eyes darting toward her door. Don't bother running, I said quietly. You already won. Her lips parted, feigning innocence. Anna, Don't, I cut in, my voice trembling but sharp. Don't act like you didn't know what you were doing. I saw the way you looked at him. I heard you laughing behind the fence. Her eyes flickered, a flash of guilt, quickly masked by something colder. It's not my fault he wanted something you couldn't give him. The words hit like a slap. I laughed softly, the kind of laugh that hides a scream. You think he'll stay with you. He won't. You'll always be the woman who said, I'll take him like a child claiming a prize. But he's not a prize, Emily. He's a man who betrays. Her face hardened. At least he's honest with me now. That made me pause. Honest. As if honesty meant confessing only after the damage was done. I stepped closer, close enough to see the faint smudge of his cologne on her skin. Honesty, I whispered, isn't something you inherit by sleeping with someone else's husband. Her expression faltered. For a heartbeat she looked small. Then she turned away, retreating toward her porch. I didn't stop her. I'd said enough. When I walked back inside, Liam was standing by the counter watching me. His eyes searched my face like he was trying to read a language he'd forgotten. What did you say to her? Enough, I replied. He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. I ended it. I looked at him. You ended it because you got caught. He flinched. I don't know how to fix this. You can't, I said simply. He took a step closer. I love you, Anna. The words tasted like poison in the air. Once, those words were my anchor. Now they were nothing but noise. No, I said. You loved who I used to be. The woman who laughed too loud, forgave too easily, and believed that love could survive anything. But you killed her. He swallowed hard, his jaw tightening. I made a mistake. Then live with it, I said. The difference between a mistake and a choice is repetition, Liam. And you repeated her name. He didn't argue. For the first time, he didn't even try. He just nodded, slow, defeated, and left the room. I watched him go, feeling something inside me uncoil. Not forgiveness, just release. The days after that blurred together, the kind of blur that feels like numbness wrapped in noise. I went to work, came home, slept in the guest room. Liam moved through the house like a ghost, careful not to touch anything that still held my scent. He didn't move out right away. I didn't ask him to. Maybe I wanted him to see what he'd destroyed, to live inside the ruins of what he'd once promised to protect. But every time I saw him, I saw her. Every shadow, every half-smile, every memory smelled faintly of vanilla and lies. Until one night I woke up and realized I didn't feel pain anymore, just emptiness. And that emptiness felt like freedom. 2 months later, he packed his things. He didn't say goodbye, not really. Just a quiet, take care of yourself. He nodded. You too. And that was it. The end of a marriage that once felt unbreakable. But endings have a strange way of stretching, like ghosts that refuse to die. A week later, Emily's house went dark. Her car disappeared from the driveway. Someone said she'd moved out, left town without notice. I didn't ask where. I didn't need to. Because betrayal has a cost. And it collects eventually. Months passed. Seasons changed. And I changed with them. I started running again, something I'd stopped doing years ago. The sound of my feet on pavement felt like therapy. Each step a small act of defiance against everything that had broken me. One morning, as I jogged past the row of houses, I noticed a for sale sign on Emily's old lawn. The new couple moving in were laughing, young, bright-eyed, unaware of the ghosts that lingered behind those walls. For the first time I smiled. Real one. A year later I ran into Liam again. It was in a grocery store of all places, aisle 7 between canned soup and cereal boxes. He looked older, tired, lone. Anna, he said softly. You look good. I am good, I replied. He hesitated. I heard you bought a new house. I did. That's great, he said. I'm happy for you. We stood there, surrounded by the quiet hum of fluorescent lights and distant chatter. Two people who once shared everything now reduced to small talk. I never stopped caring about you, he said finally. I smiled faintly. Then maybe you should have thought about that before trading me. He lowered his gaze. I know. And then I walked away. Not out of anger but peace. Because there's something liberating about walking away from someone who once made you doubt your own worth. That night, I stood on my new porch, watching the sunset bleed into gold and rose across the horizon. The air was cool, gentle. I thought about how love sometimes dies not with a scream, but a whisper. One careless moment at a barbecue, one flirtatious comment that grew roots in the wrong heart. But I wasn't bitter anymore. I'd learned that betrayal doesn't define you. What defines you is what you do after the ashes settle. Whether you choose to rebuild or let the ruins consume you. And I rebuilt. For the first time in years I felt light. I wasn't waiting for apologies or closure or understanding. I had all the closure I needed. The joke had been on me once. But now I was the one laughing, quietly, genuinely, finally free.